All right, everybody, welcome. This is Rick, and I'm joining me this week is the House of Payne, three-time Paradise Alley World Tag Team Champions. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Doing good.
Doing good. How you doing?
I'm awesome. I am so glad to have you guys here and that we were able to confirm this today. Seriously, it's been a very long time coming. So, seriously, it's been too long since we've actually talked about this. So, tell me, why don't you guys tell me about how you guys got into the wrestling business, the both of you, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, Hakim. We'll let you start.
Go ahead, either one.
Yeah. Well, my tag partner Nick was in the business before me, and I was watching him do his thing. So I always, had a passion for the business.
Right.
I went and started training so I can get down with him and his organization at the time. And I started my training out of Brooklyn, New York, under Joel Maximo of the SATs.
Okay.
So that's why I started my training, and that's pretty much the beginning of my pro wrestling career. Take it, Nick.
Okay.
I learned how to bump and all that in a park when I was 15 years old.
Right.
So that's where it all started, in the playground. So I learned how to bump from a guy named Happy the Clown. He's kind of active still, but it's weird, the person I got trained by. But yeah, trained by Happy the Clown, and then he showed me the basics of everything. Then I went on and got a group of guys together and started my own company in the Bronx. So I was doing that for a couple years, and then that got shut down. And I met up with Hakim in that time. He started working with us. Met with him. He was already going to Fighting Spirit Wrestling with the Maximos. So when I was done in New York, I just went and joined with him. And they put us on a team. We didn't even want to be a tag team. We both wanted to be singles guys. It was, thing. But we got put on a team, and it clicked. So, and then from there, it was just the rest is history, pretty much.
What was it like being trained by the Maximos, the SAT?
It was different.
Yeah, very different.
Yeah, being bigger guys, he had us doing lucha style.
Really?
So that was something that was we're kind of too big to be doing all this stuff. But then he kind of broke it down for us too. That's gonna make you a little special too.
Right.
Because people don't expect the big guys to move like that.
One of the things you mentioned was that you started your own wrestling group. Was that Empire Wrestling? Is that what it was?
Empire Pro. Oh wow, you really dug in there. Yeah, Empire Pro Wrestling.
I've been around a long time, and it's the Northeast and New England is really my specialty for independent wrestling. You guys both know I'm a huge supporter of independent wrestling. So why don't you tell me a little bit about the Empire Wrestling, if you don't mind?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it was something that my friends had started out doing, where they were just in the park hitting each other with wet floor signs. This was the thing. It was ECW era, so they were trying to beat each other's brains out, and it was just I always knew that there was more to it. There was always been a show for me. I always understood that. So I got with them, and I was kind of guys, let's try it this way. I started booking matches. I would take my school day. I'm 15, 16 years old. I'm in high school, and I'm not doing work. I'm writing matches down and putting stuff together.
Right.
So, I started doing that, helping them a little bit, and then they kind of just left me all right, you've been doing all this, so take us to the next level. Got with another guy who had money for a ring. So we got the ring together, and then it just became doing a show once a year outside in pretty much the projects in New York where we grew up.
Right.
That's where Hakim seen it. But it was cool because it was a close family. It was a group of guys that really wanted to learn the business. If you go back and watch it now, some of the worst things you'll ever see. Just wasn't good because we weren't good. It wasn't until after we went to Joel and we learned, we were wow, this is we had an idea, but he taught us how to time ourselves and put our footsteps. Another person who helped us out is Whiplash from another tag team, Zoltan or the Goat.
Okay.
He was in there with us a lot too, helping us train. So I got to give him his props as well. But yeah, the Empire Pro thing, it lasted for 5-6 years.
Oh wow.
It was good. We we were able to run shows monthly at a community center, and we drew maybe 150 people. So I mean, it was cool for
Right.
bad wrestling.
Back then that was pretty good for an indie. I mean, for a local indie, that's actually pretty good around that time period. So
Yeah,
it's not that
Yeah,
bad.
and he wasn't booking names on the show either. It
Right.
was
yeah, it was all local guys, and
Yeah.
most of the guys that we had, I trained.
Right.
Like the Gino the God, Gino, he's from Certified Sexy. He was in it. Sasha
Oh, okay.
Jenkins, Hakim, Big Daddy Dre, Nutrius X, all those guys. I pretty much had a hand in training all of them.
So those
So
are all the guys that came over to Paradise Alley, basically, right? Like a
pretty
lot of
much,
those
those were
names that you
the
brought.
we were the group that came over, and we decided like to stick together. We wanted to be a group and travel everywhere. We started out in Brooklyn, and then Sasha went off to House of Glory, and then we came to Paradise Alley. You know, jumping a little bit ahead, but yeah.
Yeah. So tell me, how'd you guys get into the business? I mean, what influenced you guys, either of you, to get into the business? As far as like, how did you grow up, and like, what made you decide that that was what you wanted to do?
Go ahead, Hakim. You can take that one.
well, from a child, I always wanted to be in the business, but
Yeah.
life got in the way, and I started, having a family and stuff like that. I
Yeah.
kind of put it in the back burner. So it got to the point where, when I met Nick and them and I seen them wrestling, I looked, and I said to myself, like, well, let me at least try this because
Right.
I don't want to get old and have regrets that I didn't try.
Right. Right.
So that's what made me go and start training with the SATs.
Okay.
And it was like a real, I didn't know what I was getting myself into
Right.
because before I got with the SATs, it was a possibility of me training in House of Glory
Right.
because I went looking for a school, and those are the two schools that I heard about. And it was just a luck of nature that I wasn't able to talk to the owner of House of Glory face to face. I spoke to him over the phone, and I said, "All right, well, I'll let you know." And then I met Joel Maximo, and it just felt right. The way he
Right.
explained everything to me, it came right. And then and it's crazy because, like Nick said, we had got knowledge from Whiplash and Proud and Powerful. I trained under them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's real crazy to see a lot of guys that we trained under and got knowledge from that's out there doing big things. So it's like, wow, you look back and you say, damn, like this is it.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How about you, Nick?
I've always loved wrestling since the time I was a kid. Since the time I was maybe 3 years old, my grandfather used to wake me up in the middle of the night to watch wrestling tapes with him, and I was supposed to be going to school the next day, and he's like, "Don't worry about it, just come with me. We'll watch some wrestling." Uh, so it's like my early memories are like Royal Rumble, I believe '89, Demolition went against each other, which was something
That
crazy
was
for me.
number one and number two.
Number
That
one,
was
number two.
to me that was awesome. Like when that
Yeah,
happened,
it was
I
something that
love that. Yeah.
even as a kid, I was kind of like, what the hell? Like, they're supposed to be like brothers to me. So
Right.
like,
Right.
like seeing that, I just fell in love with it. Like I just
Right.
always wanted to do. I've never wanted to do anything else. I mean, I
Right.
like other things, but this is something that I'm always been passionate about. So like again, I met the guy Happy the Clown. He was a family friend, and I just asked him. I used to bug him all the time. Take me with you. Show me something. Teach me something. I was willing to learn anything. He brought me with him to the original Doghouse, which was in Brooklyn. Um, that was, and they also ran LIWF back in the day.
Oh wow, I remember that actually.
Yeah.
Surprisingly, surprisingly.
I went there. I
I
ref.
remember little things. I have like little memories of certain indies that I've heard about over the years or read about in magazines. It's just they pop up every now and again. So
Yeah, I mean, like LIWF was a little like it was a small group, but it had a lot of talent. They had the SAT,
Right.
they had Amazing Red, they had Homicide, Low Key. You know, all these guys that were coming through that are New York legends now.
Right.
So I got to experience that young. Then again, just it kind of took over from there. Once I got a taste of it and was able to step into a ring, I knew this is it. Like, there's nothing else I want.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So, how long were you guys wrestling singles before you hooked up?
I would say maybe 5-6 years, but I don't really count that as a part of my career because I didn't learn anything. It wasn't psychology. There wasn't
Right.
so. But I mean, but it's still wrestling and it's still a part of my past. So yeah, so I was wrestling about 5 or 6 years solo.
So
myself was 2 years singles before I started tagging up with Nick.
So you mentioned that you started later. I guess that you said you were sitting there, you didn't want to let the time pass. How old were you when you decided that you wanted to give it a try?
Oh wow! Now I'm gonna give away my age now.
That's quite all right, man.
I was 30.
Oh yeah.
32, 31.
Okay.
Yeah, because I've been wrestling for about 10 years now. So yeah, I was 31.
All right, that's not bad, dude. I just talked to Ref Bill, and he actually admitted when he started refing. So I thought that was that's kind of awesome. Just if it's something you want to do and something that you've always had in the back of your mind, just do it. That's why I'm here doing this. You know what I mean? I finally got off my ass to start a podcast after years of dreaming about it. How'd you guys hook up with Paul Roma?
You want me to take that story?
Yeah, that was Hakim. That was definitely Hakim.
All right, so after we became a tag team in Fighting Spirit Wrestling in New York, we pretty much dominated the tag team scene in New York. Nobody was really touching us. And the New York scene was getting a little saturated. Okay. The politics in New York was getting real sideways. Everybody, in my opinion, everybody thought they was Vince McMahon, all of the promoters out there. None of them got TV, but they think they Vince McMahon.
Right.
So it was getting to the point where it was getting too cliquey, and it was too much drama, and it seemed like the drama was always around us, and it wasn't our fault. It was between promoters, rival promoters, just beefing with each other, and they put the talent at risk, like all talent in New York. So it was like, okay, this set of people roll with this people. So if you really think about the New York scene at that time, where you had Fighting Spirit Wrestling, House of Glory Wrestling, which Fighting Spirit initially came from House of Glory, because the SATs and Amazing Red and Brian XL started House of Glory with each other, and it broke away. So that's when the friction came, because then it broke away, and Joel started Fighting Spirit, and he had his group of guys, and House of Glory had their group of guys, and you had every other company in between, NYWC and Warriors of Wrestling, Bronx Wrestling Federation, and all the other little ones in between that was trying to make a name for themselves. And it was getting real saturated, and it was getting stupid. And
it became one of those things where you can't work for this guy, you have to only work for me. And it's like, guys, you're not paying us to stay in one place. We, our job is to go around and make a name for ourselves. You want us to be to this one spot. Right. It just wasn't what we were wanting to do at the time.
Right.
So you need to get your name out there. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So I got in touch with Paul Roman, and he was his first show was coming up, and he invited Nick and I to attend his show. So and it's real weird, because he didn't know who the hell I was. He didn't know whether I was bullshitting him or not. But I guess he felt it, invited us up there, and we attended his first show. And the following week, he invited us out to the school, and he basically said, okay, I want to see what y'all guys are about. So we kind of, did like maybe I guess you could say a tryout for him.
Right.
And after it was over, he looked at us and was like, "Well, you guys know how to work. Only thing that's missing from you guys is that ring psychology." And he said, if you willing, if you want to, if you want to learn, I'm willing to teach. It's up to you. And we just was like, okay, let's make it happen. It wasn't no real thoughts about it. I mean, he embraced us, and we said, let's do it. And next thing you know, we was on their next show.
Yeah, no, and it was also a thing with Paul, like when he got us in the ring and was able to teach us that psychology, instantly we started learning. So that's what swayed the choice. There is no choice really. Like we're learning. He's gonna make us a better team. And that's exactly what he did. He made us a way better team. That's why I look at the past now and I'm like, well, I didn't know a goddamn thing before. Now I feel like just everything we had so much knowledge thrown at us. We would have been fools not to.
Right. He's a great dude. Like how I ended up hooking up going to like Paradise Alley shows, I ran into him like on my way to work one day in a gas station. He was buying coffee, and then he invited me down. I had missed 2 shows in the last 2 years, like so I kind of got hooked on the product. You know, I really liked everything that he presented as a show, and I was impressed. And I was always a fan of his growing up. Like I thought he was like a tremendous wrestler, terribly underrated in the ring.
Yeah, for
like,
sure.
As far as like on a mainstream level, he was definitely one of my favorites. And then that time that I ran into him, he invited me down. I loved what I saw, so I've been back pretty much every show, with the exception of like 2 in the entire 2 years. So I thought it was, I met you guys too. So I mean, it's like, I made a lot of great friends through the going to shows and whether the workers or fellow fans or whatnot. So it's been kind of
We
awesome.
definitely appreciate it too. Like
Yeah.
all the support, the retweets, everything. Like it means so much. It was funny because like I would tell Bill all the time, like, who is Rick Del Santo? Because he likes all my stuff. He shares like I introduced me to this person. I need to thank this man.
No, man, that's just how I was. I was looking to start this, and I was just like going on Twitter, just sharing everything I can, because if I believe in something, I'm just going to talk about it and share it. I ran a website for a little while where I just talk about independent wrestling. That was same name as a podcast basically, but I kind of let it go to the side, and because I wanted the podcast, and I basically talked about you guys all the time, like the product, the Paradise Alley, and any independent wrestling that was coming to Connecticut, because I think Connecticut has this history that's really, it's well known, but it's like it's kind of hidden in a way. Like it's one of the most underrated territories for professional wrestling outside of like the mainstream, like WWF. There's such a great history of independent wrestling in the state of Connecticut or New England in general. And that's like, I talk about it with Big Daddy all the time. I think he's got like, him being involved with the business for as long. I kind of like was watching him for many, many years. And I kind of, after I got married and kind of had kids and stuff, I wouldn't say I lost interest in wrestling, but I kind of didn't keep up on it as much.
Yeah.
Until that day that I met with Paul, like in the gas station, and then I just started kind of like get right back into it, and it was just like I missed like 5 years, like in between, and it was just like it was like 5 years of wrestling. I would like take my kids to like WWE shows, but that was all I knew for like about a good 5 year span. And I started going to independent shows once I ran into Paul again, and I loved it. It's just like this is what wrestling is. Independent wrestling is wrestling to me. I've always followed independent wrestling growing up.
Yeah.
So who get away from your career? Who was your main influence when you guys were kids? Like who did you guys like draw as far as like wrestlers? Who was your favorite wrestlers growing up? Tag team, singles wrestlers, whoever.
My singles wrestler all time, no matter what, hands down, Shawn Michaels.
It's
Number
interesting.
one. Number one.
I'm a Bret Hart guy. Sorry, guys.
Oh, you got
Yeah, all right.
a part of
So
the
that's my guy. My guy's Bret
Yeah.
Hart.
Yeah. We can debate about that all the time. Like, you know. But no, Sean's my favorite of all time. Tag team wise, no shocker, the Rockers. But my favorite tag team of all is the Hart Foundation, which is weird.
All right. I was watching SummerSlam '88 today because we do retro reviews every Sunday, and we're doing for the month of August SummerSlams. I chose '88 because it was the first pay-per-view I ever bought. Hart Foundation Demolition, and the Hart Foundation Demolition match was phenomenal. Like, and I was watching like Bret Hart's delivery on the dropkick. It was beautiful. Like, seriously, he was definitely one of the greatest wrestlers of all time.
Yeah, and it's funny because my style is more of a Bret Hart style. Like, I don't do anything Shawn Michaels does except the super kick and elbow style. Most of my influence.
It's funny he said that because Bret is my favorite, but I wrestle more like Davey Boy Smith. You know what I'm saying? I wrestle more like him. But
Like,
you know, it's weird. It's weird. Like
one of the things is you shared a picture.
SummerSlam '89.
Oh yeah,
the Hart Foundation versus the Brainbusters.
Best match ever.
Right.
Best tag match.
We're doing the retro review next week of that one. There's 4 guys on the show on Sunday night, so we do each one of us picked our favorite or whatever SummerSlam. Somebody chose '89, and just say Tully and Arn are my favorite tag team of all time. No question, they are the best. So I mean, you know, besides the House of Payne, obviously.
Hey, I like that.
So you guys primarily, because of the Northeast, you guys are, I'm assuming, WWF fans?
Yes.
Yeah, as a kid, WWF. As I got older, got into the business, I learned to appreciate NWA way more. That grittiness, that rough. This is a sport. That's my thing.
I always thought that it was treated more like a sport. It was like a darkened arena. It was treated more seriously. Guys used less character type names. It wasn't as glitzy. They used more realistic sounding names if they were using a kayfabe name, you know, stuff like that. So that's what I was. Obviously, I think that if you grew up watching wrestling in the '84 era, 1984 and beyond, WWF is the thing you first get into. I'm assuming for most people, but once you discover the NWA, it's like all over. It's like more serious. You get what I'm saying? Like, I love the NWA. Once I discovered the NWA, the WWF was like out of the way. It's like, go away with that stuff. You know, I always loved watching the NWA. So, and I still do. I still, like, you know, I buy bootleg DVDs of like NWA TV all the time. That stuff that's not available on the network. So.
Yeah, I mean, I spend a lot of time watching all that stuff. What I like the most about NWA is you can get away from the fact that this is entertainment. Like, there were certain matches where I'm like, these guys, they look like they're fighting for something. Those titles meant something when they were going for them.
Right.
It's not like now where like the belt's kind of just a toy that they play around with now. But
I mean, the belts look like toys nowadays. I mean, they're ridiculous looking. If you go into like even the NWA today, the belts are more realistic looking. Like the current model of NWA, even AEW, the belts are more realistic looking as opposed to. I don't think the WWE title is the Universal or the World title. The belt is just a big W with like, you know, a square, and it's just like it's corny.
It's a carnival belt. It's a carnival belt.
Exactly. Not to cut on, you know. One of the things that was said a couple of weeks back was that I'm not going to discuss WWE on this show anymore if I don't have anything positive to say about it. And here we are trashing their belts. Because, well, after the last pay-per-view, I was just annoyed with the last pay-per-view. It was terrible. So it's just like, we just decided we're not going to talk about WWE, even have WWE anymore on the podcast unless something positive comes up. So tell me about all right, so I asked you guys about hooking up with Paul Roma. What was your first match in Paradise Alley? I don't think I was around at that time period when you guys started with Paradise Alley because I've only, like I said, I've probably been going to shows there for about 2 years. Tell me about when you guys started there. I mean, as far as like your first match and such. Did you guys come in as baby
Kim would
faces?
have a better memory of that one.
Our first match was April of 2015.
Okay. Oh, so it's been a while. All right.
Yeah, April 2015, and it was against Rob Zombie and Andy Sweet.
Yes. Wow.
Okay. I don't know. I know Ron Zombie, but I don't know the. I'm not
Yeah,
familiar with the other name.
he took the power slam that night.
Well, you were talking about Davey Boy Smith earlier. One of the pictures that I took of you guys from like the North Haven Fair last year, I think it was, or maybe it was like the Taco Fest. You were delivering a hell of a fucking power slam in mid, like the picture that I snapped it right at that right moment as you were in the air about to deliver it. Beautiful power slam. The form was perfect.
And I tell people all the time that I have the best running power slam. The only person that did it better than me was Davey Boy Smith.
The legend that is Davey Boy. Oh, now, well, he's supposed to be a Hall of Famer, not yet. Nick, what are you drinking? Are you drinking an alcoholic beverage, Nick?
I am. I'm actually having a Lemmy right now, Jack and Coke.
You refer to it as a Lemmy fist bump right there.
There you go. Oh, yeah. Lemmy's the greatest.
Fat Tire. I don't know if you guys have tried this at all. It's
not.
An ale. This is some good stuff. It's a microbrew, whatever. I got it in I don't know. I got it in a sample pack a couple months back, and then I just ended up finding it and buying cases of it. So it's awesome if you like ales, like if you like brown ales. It's really
I'll try
good.
I'll try it for sure.
Yeah,
I'll taste anything with alcohol in it.
I drink a lot of whiskey. Most of the time I do this show, I'm like really fucking drunk, especially on Sunday nights. So that's the bad night because I ended up drinking 100 proof whiskey a couple weeks back. And I think every other word out of my mouth was the F word. So that particular night, and so I said, I can't drink that whiskey for the rest of my life. So don't try it. So you guys got something coming up on Saturday, right? You guys got a mystery partner. What's going on with this?
Well, I mean, we've been the New World Wrestling Extreme Tag Team Champions for over a year now. And the promoter's been, looking for opponents for us.
Yep.
And, this time around, he wants to, have mystery guests. So, I mean, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. You guys are going to walk away with the belts anyways, right?
Well, that's the plan. It's always the plan. Is walk away with the belts. But no, I mean, New World as a company is been around for a while, but it's new to us.
Right.
So, like, to be able to come in, we won the titles our first night in the company.
Oh, wow.
So it's like, we made an impact, and people seen us and doubted us at first. And then that bell rang, and we started to move, and they were like, oh, like, took them back, like, wow, these guys can go. So, did that. We beat the Hoods for the titles. Then we went back and we beat another team called the Untamed. So, like, he's just been lining up different teams, and we've just been taking them out. So, I mean, that's the plan for Saturday. He lines them up, we take them out.
That's right.
I'm not familiar with the company. I know the name. I've seen it advertised, on my Facebook. Is there anything you can tell me about this company at all?
It's run by James Allen. You heard of James Allen?
I don't think so. No. Has he been around a while?
He's been around. He used to wrestle for NWA back in the days when this dude damn, I forgot the guy's name. The guy that Billy Corgan bought the company from, Bob Thorpe.
Bruce Thorpe.
Right.
One of those.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right. So
yeah, I remember that.
He worked on the NWA when that guy owned it, and he's pretty much. I'm not sure if he did any dark matches in WWE, but he pretty much worked the whole New England territory in his day. He was actually supposed to get inducted into the Hall of Fame this year, but they canceled it because of COVID. So he's been around.
Right. Yeah, I'm not familiar with him. I mean, there's so many people working the area. Can't catch everybody, unfortunately. So
I mean, No, the company has a good mesh of guys. I mean,
Yep.
we have our guys now that are, going to try to come up there. Some Paradise Alley guys, test the strength guys that are there. Sammy Diaz is there. Slick Wagner Brown's there. Sammy Diaz. There's, it's a good roster. It's a good group. So if you're in the Rhode Island area, if you can make it up there, definitely come check it out.
Yeah, that's Saturday Woonsocket, right? New York.
Yep.
What time does it start?
I believe 7. I'm sorry.
I should look
I'm
into-
horrible with remembering. I can tell you right now. I can look at my Instagram right now. Just give me a minute.
That's all right. I could look it up on Facebook at some point later on and talk about it because one of the things is I'm trying to promote a lot of more independent wrestling here rather than obviously after Extreme Rules. I don't want to talk about that anymore. But yeah, if I can make it up there, I'll try to make it up there because that looks like a pretty interesting show. So you guys are facing what's that?
No, it's definitely going to be a great show.
Yeah.
Sure.
So they got a good mesh of guys. He said, I'm interested in you guys are now your 3 times Paradise Alley. Let me ask you. Sorry, I skipped words here. What's going on with Paradise Alley? Is there any shows coming up? I heard there's words maybe coming around that there might be a show towards the end of the month.
Well, we haven't officially announced it, but because it's you,
we're gonna give you the exclusive.
We'll give you the exclusive for sure.
Oh,
August 29th, we're gonna run a special Saturday Night Alley Fights. But it's gonna be 3 events in one day.
Okay.
So we'll run a show maybe a hour and a half, maybe an hour show. 1 at 3 o'clock, 1 at 5, and 1 at 7. We're going to try to have as many as we can. We're going to follow all the social distancing orders and masks and sanitizers. We'll be sanitizing the ring, making sure everybody's safe. But yeah, it's going to be something interesting where, more stuff will come out in the coming weeks or in the next few days, actually. Just finalizing some stuff.
So it hasn't been 100% confirmed. So it's pretty much, yeah. I'll be there for all 3 events if that's the case. So I mean, because I'll be there all day. That's just how I am. I'll sit there and watch wrestling. Hey, if I could sit through the Taco Fest the entire day watching matches for
man,
that whole day.
Do not remind us about that day.
that was a brutal day. Mind you, I had 4 kids with me at the same time. I had my 3 oldest sons and a 4-year-old. So I was trying to stay sane.
In that heat? God.
Yes.
Bless you.
So we're living in crazy times right now. I mean, the pandemic has put everything off. I mean, I haven't been to a wrestling show since was the ACW show that you guys were on in New York the last time. Was that the last show before?
No, we did the last one was Paradise Alley.
Was that the last one? Okay.
With Bob
Chain.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, okay. Okay, that's
because they shut everything down right after that show.
Yeah, you know what?
Yeah,
you're right. Because that was the one.
They were contemplating shutting down that show. That show was so crazy. The ring was broken. Like before the show even started.
Who told me? I think Big Daddy might have mentioned that afterwards. So yeah, that was.
It was a wild time.
Yeah, Bob was a very interesting individual that night. I've met him 3-4 times, and I wrestled in high school, and he lives in Rocky Hill. Yeah. Well, Bob was a coach of Rocky Hill High School team. I wrestled for Amity and Woodbridge, and we faced Rocky Hill, and he was the coach. And that was the very first time. Mind you, 1982. This is a year before he went back to WWF. So it's I met him. I was like, holy shit, that's Bob Backlund. I was like a 15-year-old kid, and it was that was the first time I ever met him. He was cool as could be. Back then, he was still pretty sane at that point. So I actually saw him a couple weeks ago. He's a nice gentleman, and seeing him at that show was really cool too.
What weight class did you wrestle?
What's that?
What weight class did you wrestle in?
My first year was a 189, I think, a 170, whatever that was. I'm trying to remember. This is 20. I'm going back 25, almost 30 years. Don't get me thinking now because I can't think properly. So I remember my second and third year I wrestled heavyweight. So I had gotten pretty heavy by then. So, but yeah. But I gotta tell you, amateur wrestling, that was like one of my favorite things to do. I was in the best shape of my life, literally, like, and I absolutely loved it. And I still watch it on TV whenever it's on, you know. So
Yeah, that was my roots as well.
yeah,
To wrestling, yeah, man.
obviously, every young kid's dream is to become a professional wrestler once they watch it on TV. But reality set in. I had a wife and kids and all that other stuff. So. You know, but yeah, exactly. Life. It's like I give you guys, I get anybody that follows through with the dreams like that, man. And because I know it's a very hard business, and I know it's very hard to train. I don't ever, I know some guys really doubt the business. I don't ever doubt because I've known so many people that have run through the business, and the training is so fucking hard. I'll never ever doubt it. So, what else you guys got? We got so much time. We got some more time. We can talk about whatever you want now from here on in.
Whatever questions you feel like you want to ask us, man.
I
wasn't necessarily prepared.
I'm actually trying to think of questions to ask you because, like, we don't ask somebody watching on the other side. It's like, what do you enjoy more of? Or what would you change from Paradise Alley if you could?
Paradise Alley,
I
really like the
more.
More of? We need to just promote. Promotion is where that and try to get more people through the doors. I love the product. I love the majority of the guys. Sometimes, most of the time, I love the majority of the team. Everybody's cool. Everybody's really nice, family friendly. Everybody that treats my family like, friends and family when I walk through there with you guys or Big Daddy, Mario, and Bull Dread. We just need more people through those doors. And that's, that's why I try to promote you guys. And I fucking on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, try to just share everything I can just to reach out even to people I know or follow me, whatever, to try to get more people through those doors. Whether it works, I don't know. But I'm hoping that it does because, you guys are awesome. You guys do a great family-friendly show. And that's what I like about professional wrestling because I'm not into, I love DCW back in the day, but as a grown-up, like, I love traditional professional wrestling, and I've always loved traditional style professional wrestling, not into deathmatch stuff, not into intergender or any weird stuff. So I like a good family-friendly product as long as it's presented like a sport. It's professional wrestling, then try to help and promote that product, and that's what you guys at Paradise Alley do. You guys are a great roster there. Yeah. Not to kiss your ass or anything.
No. I mean, you have.
I'm being honest. I'm being 100%.
We appreciate it.
I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I've mentioned it, before that you guys are a great family-friendly product. I think that's one of the things that Paul Roman and Mario try to do. That's the era that they grew up in, like the golden era, which was just all very family-friendly, basically. Without being too cartoonish as well.
Yeah, and that's I think Paul has a real good balance on that. When it gets too gimmicky, I mean, sometimes he slips up. You got to be like, "Hey, this is getting a little crazy," and he'll be like, "All right, cool." But he's very open to listening to us and taking our critiques. Like he values what we think because we're what's going on now in wrestling. We know what's good. We know what's going to get over.
You guys have actually booked a couple shows. Am I correct in that for them?
Yeah, all the alley fights is a joint. It's a joint thing between myself, Hakim, Ref Bill, Marcel Williams. Like it's a group effort to make that show go off. And the idea behind alley fights was to take talent that Roma might not book on the main show. Because has a certain set of guys that he's got plans for, so we decided let's give our guys some opportunity and let's almost like an NXT. Let's bring them up so that way he can see them.
Right.
You can't give a guy a tape and go, hey, watch this, I'm good. it's different from seeing it with your own two eyes.
Right.
You know, you can be like, oh, damn. And that's the kind of guy Roma is. Bro, you can send him tapes all day, but if he don't see it with his own two eyes in front of him,
Right. Yeah.
he ain't going to go. So that's what the alley fights was. And then it turned out to be something small, and then all the fans really loved it. And, you know, it's been real good. So hopefully we can continue to do that and deliver more shows.
I like going to the alley fights. I mean, I like the big shows too, but the alley fights, the small setting in the school, there's something about it that's just so special. You know, like you guys were saying, it's a smaller setting. The crowd is very electric. You know what I mean? And the roster, they're an hour and a half to 2 hours. It's so much fun to watch, like in that small building. It gets terribly hot in that building sometimes. But,
That is,
you know,
oh,
it's a lot of fun, dude. But it's just a lot of fun.
we complain about that all the time. Like, if we could just get a fan or something, an industrial fan, we need some AC. But no, I mean, we're working on it.
Well, it was the last summer you guys had the big door open, you know, and so I was like, it was at least there was some circulation in there. So
Yeah.
you guys have had some amazing names come through just at school as far as like working in the building as far as like for like alley fights. I mean, Mike Law came through there. I love that guy. That guy's awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, so I'm trying to think what else to say. Sorry.
No, we had Mike Law, we
Yeah,
had Chris Bay.
Chris Bay. I mean, I remember when Chris Bay came through. I just saw him on was it 205 Live just the week before. Next thing I know, he's just standing right behind me. I'm like, holy shit. You know, I'm like, dude, I was like, I just saw you on TV last week. He's like, yeah, I'm on TV tonight on Impact. You know, I was like, oh, all right. You know, now look at him. He's the X Division champion. I got to that guy worked his ass off to get where he is. And I think Impact is a terribly underrated product right now. So it's
right now, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing so many great things. I think they have such a bad stigma on them for many years of doing bad things that a lot of people won't just click the channel and even give it a try, unfortunately, because they have a great roster right now.
They do. Me and Hakim were watching the last pay-per-view watched together.
An awesome
before, it was a great pay-per-view.
I thought it was awesome. Yeah.
It was good. It like their product is very underrated right now, but I think coming out of COVID is going to be completely different. I think people are wanting to see what they do now with a live crowd and all that. I think it'll get good.
I think it'll get great. I mean, as well, because I mean, there was a time period where they were drawing like something like 4,000 or 5,000 fans in a crowd. Now look like they're only drawing like 1, 2. It seemed like the crowd was pretty quiet for some shows, but ever since the pandemic started, they're doing these empty arena things, these TV tapings. They're getting really good. Whoever's working on the creative process, whatever they're doing stuff right. I think it's Tommy Dreamer is like the head of booking, really, right? Am I correct on that? Do you think?
I believe so. I believe he's the head of talent relations right now as well. Like he's the man in charge.
Yeah.
That I'm actually, as we're talking now, I have New Japan on my screen. I'm watching the New Japan show that they just did, and we're working in front of the crowd already. It's amazing.
What show are you watching? I have the 2 Summer Struggle 1 and 2, night 1 and night 2.
Summer Struggle. I'm watching. I believe night 2, the most recent one.
I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, it's wonderful. I'm looking up and looking down at you guys now. It's good. It's really good.
I watched this show before that, the week before. Unfortunately, I can't pronounce the name, so I don't want to even try to butcher it. But it was a really good show, like the 5 or 6 matches that I watched off it. I have Summer Struggle 1 and 2 that I need to get to. They're another great product. I can't believe that they're in the States. They're as big as they are now, because I mean back then it was like a cult thing. I used to get tapes from them from the guy in Brooklyn that I used to tape trade with back in the day. So they're the fact that they were on American TV for a while, and they were doing shows in America. It's fucking amazing, dude. That wrestling right now is just phenomenal. Right before the pandemic, independent wrestling was like huge. It was like shows everywhere. I remember there was one night you guys were running the show, and there was like 6 other shows in the state. I was just like, damn. I was like, that's fucking awesome, because I struggled for so many years to try to find shows to go to, and with the age of the internet, and now internet wrestling is at a huge boom. Well, before the pandemic, rather, it was
Yeah.
just it was awesome to try it. Like it was awesome because like you can between Twitch, there's so many streaming outlets between Twitch, YouTube, and stuff. People just streaming stuff for free. It's a lot of fun to like independent wrestling. So there's a
Yeah,
lot
for
of really
sure.
great stuff. So where are you guys gonna? What are you guys gonna do in the future? What do you guys want to do in the future as far as being a team? When are you guys going to show up on NWA TV? That's the other thing. Once
Right,
they start
right,
running,
right.
I want to see
This
you guys on the NWA TV.
See, this is
I've
where
been a
the
I've been a
craziness
cha-
comes at. This is where the craziness coming at.
I've
It's
been a
like,
champion for you guys showing up on the NWA. I hope you guys know that I have said sign these guys, bring these guys in because I think you guys would dominate there.
No, yeah, we
Go
definitely see
ahead.
it. Appreciate it.
we've been talking to the higher ups, and
All
it's
right.
like, they got us playing the waiting game. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And I mean, the COVID thing messed everything up, but it
The
might
whole
work in
world.
our favor. It might work in our favor as well because you have guys leaving, so it could possibly open up some doors. But we willing to go, anywhere, whether it's
Right.
AWA,
Keep talking. Yep.
MLW, Impact, all the league. Like we're ready to be on prime time. It's all about them doing their part. we ready.
Those
We
guys
ready.
need to.
Yeah, no, I mean,
They
And,
need to
and,
get in
and it's just
contact with
we
man.
definitely
it
want to see
becomes real,
NWA.
it becomes real weird because we meet a lot of these guys that's in these companies, and they pretty much know who we are and give us our props. Even Ring of Honor, it's just weird that you got all of this, you got the talent in there that know who we are, give us our props, say that we can work, but we're not getting these opportunities. It's a
It's
little frustrating.
unfortunate. Right now, Ring of Honor, like, what was it? They announced like 2-3 weeks ago. They're not signing anybody, renewing any contracts or any of that stuff. Ever since the pandemic started and contracts expired, they said they're not doing anything. And that's a shame. This company was a once prominent company. This was like one of the greatest indies of all time.
Yeah.
Before they started getting television stuff, and it's amazing to see what they've become. I mean, it's unfortunately.
I think it's a good thing in a way, just
Right.
because I think they're looking at it like, let's see what happens when we come out of all this. When
Right.
it's time to run a show, who's free, who's
Right.
who's relevant. So I mean, it sucks because you want them to make it. You don't want to see them go under.
Exactly.
Hopefully, they're not in that position where they're in a position where they can be like, "Hey guys, we're good. We can pay you. We're not going to run any shows, and then we'll pick up new talent and start fresh when we start back up."
Right. It's unfortunate.
Hopefully, we're part of that.
I don't want to see. I hear you. I don't want to see any companies sink. I mean, it's just like even before the pandemic, how many companies have announced that they're just going under? It's unfortunate.
Yeah.
I mean, so many companies, including the biggest company that there is suffering financially. Or supposedly, I heard that WWE raked in $47 million or something during the pandemic or something. It says like some ridiculous amount. It's just like, but they had to fire how many guys just in order to get that kind of money. But it's like, it's in AEW. What are you guys' opinions of AEW? They've been around a year now, a year and a half now, as far as that goes. What do you guys think of their television product during the pandemic?
I think they're doing it the best right now.
I agree. I think that there's some.
There's some things that I'm not a fan of like the jokey stuff. So like that kind of off a little bit. Where so many things, it's cool, but it's too much. Like I'm a wrestling guy, so like I enjoy the wrestling part of it. But also with as far as having guys in the crowd and having that atmosphere where guys want to wrestle and it feels like a legit, like they're really showing their emotion. I think AEW is doing a great job.
Right, exactly. That's how I feel. I think they're doing a really good job as far as building that television product. I think that you watch WWE, whether it be Raw, SmackDown. I've given up on Raw and SmackDown, just for the record. You watch NXT. It's just that you could tell that they're plants in a way. They're just guys that are acting in a certain way. They're like, you have to act when this guy does this, and it's just like you can just tell the way the guy jumps or moves or makes a facial expression. It's not adding anything to it. They're just there making noise, and it's just like, God, this is more annoying. I just want to shut it off. Whereas AEW, they seem to be just doing something right. I don't know. I think they're just letting everybody kind of free flow, like that.
Yeah, they're letting their guys.
Just
they're probably just giving them like an outline. Hey guys, don't curse.
Yeah.
We're on national television, so don't say nothing
Exactly.
crazy, but go have fun. And
Right.
that's what it is. WWE, their plants in the crowd, they look like plants, like you said. Like you can tell it's not genuine. Whereas the AEW guys, they just legit going out there having a good time.
They're just going exactly. They're just going out there. They're having fun. They're doing whatever. I think they're really, honestly, the best television product currently. I mean, that's operating. Mine before the pandemic was NWA because I'm just an NWA fan since I was a fucking kid. Sorry, I swore again, but I was an NWA fan since I was a kid, and before the pandemic, they were the best. But now it's just like eight. There's only 3 wrestling shows are on national TV as of present time, or organizations rather. So they're doing it right. They're a lot of fun to watch. Even they did a pay-per-view that was pretty freaking awesome, right? I mean that during the pandemic.
It was a really good pay-per-view. It really was. I enjoyed it. And that
It's
was
hard
the first pay-per-view I've seen in a long time, and it was pretty good.
Yeah, it's hard to do a pay-per-view during the pandemic. So how are you guys making out during the pandemic? Answer that. So how are you guys staying sane?
Well, I mean, at the beginning, we was pushing our shirts. We was pushing our shirts big time, and just trying to put out material every week at least. Trying to give the fans a little info on us if they don't already know. I would throw little gems out there here and there about what we done and what's going on. Trying to stay relevant as possible. I mean that's what we've been doing, and we've been back training since May. So since the end of May, we've been back in the ring training. So we ready.
As far as in the school or in general? Just So okay.
No, that's in the school. We've been back in the school since May. I mean, like we've been trying to do as many of these like podcasts and stuff like that. Again, guys like yourself, Don Kincaid, Fogman, like you guys do a lot for us, and y'all don't even understand. Keeping us relevant, keeping our name out there, sharing the pictures that we share for everything. Like it's so appreciated. So that that's why we enjoy doing things like this. So we've definitely been trying to do more interviews, more podcasts, because you guys give us a lot, whether it be money paying for your tickets, coming to enjoy the shows, or just supporting us. So give it back. Like we appreciate y'all for doing everything.
I appreciate that, man. Because you guys, you have no idea how much this meant to have you guys on, and I see you guys live. I just love going to wrestling, whether it be by myself, bringing my kids with me, man. It's just you guys are entertaining. Nobody realizes what you guys go through, on a daily basis just to get where you guys are. It's fucking incredible.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass, and
I know
it gets to the point. It gets to the point. We say this all the time. It gets to the point where we get up and be like, "Why the fuck are we still doing this?" But then it's guys like you and Kincaid and just random fans all over the world. Like we would get messages from people that's checking out our stuff on YouTube from other countries, and they like, "Dang, y'all guys are great." When you coming to England? I'm like, whoa.
I'd love to see you guys. I'd love to see you guys on my TV every week. Let's just say that, man. If you guys got it, hooked up with a company that had a TV deal, that's fucking awesome, dude. Because Well, it's two guys, two my buddies that I know. You know, it's fucking awesome. I wish nothing but the best for you guys. I loved your interview with Kincaid, by the way. I thought that was an awesome interview. Yes, totally. Kincaid does a
Thank you.
lot, and so does Fogman, man. I mean, those two do a lot from the independent circuit around the Northeast. And that's just they do a hell of a lot more than I do. I'm just starting out, to be honest with you. Those guys have been doing it for years, and they've been working their asses off for a number of years. They're two great guys when it comes to this stuff. Well,
For sure.
for sure. So, what else you guys got before we hit the road?
I'm going to
Anything
put you on the spot right now.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I know where this is going.
You know exactly. Yeah, you know what's going. Now, be honest. Don't let no trickery here happens. Cause Nick like to Nick Payne like to do trickery. Now, if we were split up, right? Nick Payne and I.
Hell.
If we were split up, who's the Shawn Michaels on the team and who's the Marty Jannetty of the team?
I'm going to tell you that I thought Marty was a better wrestler at times. And those two wrestling each other when they broke up was phenomenal. So I just want to see the match. I can't answer that question, brother. I can't answer that.
It's funny. We asked Roma the same question earlier, and he just looked at us like, "Yeah, no, you're not getting that one out of me." He's nope.
He got the opportunity. He pinned him, didn't he? Did he pin Michaels or Jannetty? One of them injured the leg, and then yeah, that's right. It's been so long. That's one of the SummerSlams that we should talk about soon. All right, yeah, I remember. I'm gonna tell you, when he turned heel, I thought it was phenomenal when he was put in that spot with Hercules. I'm sorry, I don't want to sit there and just say, hey, how much of a huge Roma fan I was back in the day, but he was fucking awesome.
Listen. Listen. I want you to listen to this. That is so crazy and so ironic that you would think the shit was planned. Okay, the very first match that I ever seen in my life. Now, remind you, I came to this is going to Madison Square Garden. I was late. I missed 2 matches. When I got in the building and sat down, the very first match that I seen live was Paul Roman going against Marty Jannetty with Hercules and Ray. This was right after SummerSlam. This was right after SummerSlam 1990.
All right, so Roma won that match. Am I correct?
He sure did.
That's on the network, I believe, and I think if I remember.
Now wait a minute, hold on. Now let me get that. That happened in September of 1990. Okay.
All right.
Nick and I beats Paul Roma for the first time September of 2014. No, 15. Wow. I'm sorry. No, 14. I said it right. 2014. Okay.
That's
it's just weird. Now, Nick, you tell him your story.
So my grandfather used to take wrestling from me. So I have this tape that I watched. I still have the tape. I don't even know how it still works. But it's funny because my favorite thing of the tape was, remember when Bobby Heenan was making fun of Big Boss Man's mother?
Yes. That was some
Boss Man handcuffs him to the guardrail.
Yes.
The match that goes on for Boss Man is Big Boss Man versus Paul Perez, which is a trainer at Paradise Alley.
Oh my God, really?
The next match after that match is Paul Roman and Hercules versus 2 other. So I'm like watching all these guys that I grew up watching every day
just
on
this one, just on that one tape.
Just on that one tape on that one show, because it was like right back to back. And now a couple years later, I'm sitting with both of them, cracking jokes and just being able to be friends with these two. It was so
That's
like
amazing.
when me and our kids put our stories together, we were like, "This is crazy." You wouldn't think that something like that happened.
Yeah, Perez is a great dude. I love that guy.
Perez is the man. I love Perez. That's like my Uncle Paul right there.
Nice guy. Nice guy. That's incredible, dude. That's the funny thing is, it's like I don't remember Perez in WWF really that much as a kid, but then it's like I kept hearing these stories, and then I go back and watch videos, like, oh, I remember that guy. It's like, oh yeah, because he looks completely different. It's 30 years
Yeah.
later. So I mean, so it's like, oh yeah, some guys I don't remember, but I have a memory that I can remember just about every guy that was in the during that time period when I was a kid. So
And Perez is he's another interesting guy. Like I think more people should do podcasts with him. Like he's got
yeah,
so much knowledge. His
I
mom
thought
and
about
dad were
having
wrestlers, and
I
it's
thought about
amazing.
having him on here. Yeah, I thought about talking to him about having him come on. I got Dread on Monday and a couple other guys next week. So I mean, I'm glad to
Yeah,
guys
no,
get
for
the
sure.
guys in.
He's definitely like this fountain that I mean, he's a great guy, and because he's so quiet sometimes, he keeps himself under the radar. But if
Yep,
you get to sit and talk with him, you can learn so much from him. He's a wealth of knowledge. Love to do so much.
that's
He's a
awesome.
man.
Tell me about working with Mario. Mario's another great dude. I think he's funny. I think he's a really funny guy. Really nice too.
I love the way Mario tells stories. He
Yes.
has a way to just draw you
He's
in with telling a story. It's the greatest thing ever.
he's worked with everybody, man. I mean, seriously, literally everybody that time period that he was in there. And I remember as a kid growing up in Connecticut, he was billed from Milford, Connecticut, which was like 20 minutes from me. I thought it was the most amazing thing ever. I grew up in Woodbridge. I was like, wow, that guy's from Milford. I wonder if I'll ever run into him. This is me as a kid, though. It's like a little kid. I thought it was awesome. So, but then growing up, and it's like I see that guy all the time. It shows. He's just there. So,
Yeah,
but he's
no,
the
and
nicest
I
guy.
mean, again,
Grew up,
we sound like a broken record saying it, but
right,
like
right.
they are all good guys to us. Mancini, Roma, Perez, Big Steve, Big Daddy is another guy who just champions us
He's
to.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's somebody that we definitely hold close to us because he always looks out, much like yourself. Like you
Yep.
guys, no matter what it is, you guys always promote us and back us, and we appreciate y'all for that, for real.
Absolutely. And I'll continue as long as I'm around and I got breath in me. You guys will get promoted.
I
So,
appreciate that.
all right. Why don't we? You guys got social media you want to follow this up with, and then we'll hit the road.
Get it, Nick. Tell him, Nick.
Did he space out or freeze?
Yeah, he looked like he froze. Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Oh, there he is. He's alive. He's breathing.
Yeah.
I'm here. Oh, did it go black? My
Nick,
bad.
you want to give the handles, Nick?
Okay. Nick underscore. What?
Yeah. What's going on with you?
Can y'all hear me?
No.
You keep freezing, bro.
I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry. It's my internet. My internet's retarded over here. I mean, I'm sorry. My internet is stupid.
I know. I understand.
So the House of Pain underscore official on Instagram. House of Pain official underscore at Twitter. Well, yeah. I think this Jack and Coke is getting to me. How can you read it?
You get that's not how to
live in
say
person next time, bro.
the shit that he said. And
Shit that I said. Thank you.
and you can also get us on our individual pages, which is which is Nick Payne. You got
Nick Payne underscore HOP.
There you go. And you can catch me Hakeem Ali on Twitter, Facebook, and on Instagram is under Hater Killer.
That's right.
That's pretty much. I'm easy to find, man. You put Hakeem Ali up, it pops up, man.
Same thing. Nick Payne, it all shows up. They're all there.
I think there's only one of you. I mean,
The House of Pain, DA, not THE. People get that mixed up.
That's
yes.
right.
Duh. DA, House of Pain.
Duh. And of course,
And
It's
and I want to tell your viewers to get out there and voice your opinions and let these companies know that the House of Pain is ready for prime time. And
That's
we will go against any tag team that's out there. You put them in a ring with us, I guarantee you will be entertained. Because the House of Pain always brings something different from every other competitor out there. When you see the House of Pain, you will always remember us. Whether we heels, baby faces, you will remember.
do you guys have a tagline? We
Yes,
are.
our house, our
I-
rules. We are tag team wrestling.
There you go. Gentlemen, it's Bill Rick Del
For
Santo on
sure.
Instagram and Twitter. And let's get these guys in the NWA. Billy, come on, man. You guys are missing out.
Let's go,
Take your
Courtney.
bumps.
You ready?
Yeah.